I am your host, Carrie Scollin, giving us different perspectives on where we are and where we want to go on our journey. Thanks for being here, and I look forward to spending some time with you. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another series of the Founder Podcast. We are highlighting all the authors that are coming in for the Lighthouse Project Volume 3 that is launching April 11th. And today I have Tanya Conlin who is joining us. I'm so excited that you're here, Tanya, to talk about your chapter it's a biggie. It is a biggie. I just finished reading it again. I like to read it nice and fresh before we come on and talk about it. We're going to talk a little bit about it because we don't want to give everything away that you've written in your chapter.
Right.
It's beautiful. There's so many pieces that struck me, to my heart. It was very well done. I thought you did a great job. And so Tanya Conlin, thank you for joining us. Come on
Thank
in.
you.
We're gonna get started.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Good. So how are you feeling? Like you've always wanted to be a writer. You've
Yes.
written forever, sounds like. And
Yes.
what was it about this time that it was, I want to share this story? And we all came in with the intention of helping somebody through our story. So I know that was part of yours as well. But tell me about your experience, I should say, in trying to figure out what exactly you wanted to write about, because you've got a lot. You've had a lot of
Ye-
things go on.
Yes. So as you'll read, I lost my husband. And I always knew that that was something I was going to write about.
Mhm.
Um, I never really hit that point, and I got another curveball thrown at me before that, and I was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer.
Mhm.
Um, about 5 years after I lost my husband. And I was in such a unique situation. Not so much with the cancer, but like with my age, and then also having lost my husband as well. Like there wasn't really a category that I fit in as far as for like support groups, I guess. There
Right.
was like support groups for loss of a spouse.
Right.
There were support groups for cancer, but nothing that really like melded those two together.
Right.
Um, so when the opportunity came to write the chapter for this book, I
Mhm.
was like, you know what? I'm just gonna jump right on that because
Mhm.
I think there are other people that would come across kind of the same situation that
Right.
I'm at. But I mean, it can help. I feel like give hope
Yes.
regardless, no matter what
Yeah.
your situation is.
So it feels like you were a little bit caught in the middle of nowhere, like, where do I belong?
Yes, a
You're a
little
grieving
bit.
widow, you're a single mom, and then you get thrown this other blow of breast cancer, stage 3 breast cancer. So for the writing part, I hear it a lot that the writing process helps with the healing journey. Did it help you to write this
100%.
out? Yeah, okay. I'd love to
Yes.
talk a little bit about that, just for others who writing is can be very hard for people because so many of your
Yes.
emotions come back up. But how did you deal with that during the writing?
I will be honest, like I would write, and then some of the emotions that did come up again,
Hmm.
I would have to take a step back for a little bit
Yeah, yeah,
before I could continue writing.
yeah.
The biggest thing I've always found is to feel through your emotions.
Hmm. Hmm.
So this kind of gave me another opportunity to do that, being right in it, and still at the same time somehow being outside of it as well when I was reading back over.
Right.
Um, and I was able to see there were things that I thought I had, I'll say, quote unquote, dealt with,
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
that I realized I still had really strong feelings and healing that needed to be done.
Hmm.
And I did feel like this was very like cathartic in that sense.
I'm glad that's what that process was for you, because I know it wasn't easy. And it was almost like you became a bit of an observer of your story,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Yeah, and it's as hard as it is to be the observer when you're writing it, what a beautiful perspective you can take when you kind of pull yourself out and look at it from a different view. And I
Yes.
think you did that very well. It was almost like you touch on it where it was a life before and a life after, and you're somewhere in the middle trying to navigate all of this. Uh, you also talked about, and I know this, I wouldn't have even had to read your chapter to know this, but during this whole process, you still went to the place of making sure everybody else was okay,
That's
right? That's your heart. I mean, that's just who you are, and to your core, from what I know of you, is you want to make sure everybody around you is okay. But at some
yeah.
point, did you ever get to that point in your process where you were able to receive help from others?
Yes,
You
that
did.
was one of the biggest lessons I think that I learned from the loss of my husband
Hmm.
was to accept help, and that actually helped me to be able to accept help more easily while I was going through my cancer journey.
Good, good. Because the receiving part for women like you who are empaths, and you're picking up on other people's energy all the time when you want to help people. So sometimes that's very hard to be on the other end of that.
It is. It
And
is.
and when you're in, dealing with the grief of the loss of your husband, that's almost I would say like a protective. Like, if I can make sure everybody else around me is good, I don't have to worry about myself. So let's just focus everything. But when it came to your breast cancer journey, that had to have taken a step back, because it wasn't, you were still doing it, I believe. But there was a part of you that it was no longer viable for you to be doing that all the time. I mean, you have a daughter, Alora, so that's never going to end. Mums don't ever end, the
No.
wanting to make sure that we have daughters, so our daughters are good. But I mean, this is something that you've navigated with her as well. I mean, from a very young age, because how old was she when she lost her dad?
She was 3.
3, so
It was
very
the summer
little.
before she turned 4. Yeah, she was
And
very
then,
little.
yeah, and then it was 5 years later you were diagnosed. Yes.
Yeah, almost 5 years to the day that I
Yeah.
found the lump.
Yeah. So when you talk about I mean, when you sum yourself up and your journey, it's love, grit, resilience. And do you see that in your daughter?
Yes,
Right? I mean,
100%.
there's
I
no doubt
do.
that you can describe yourself, and you can also describe your daughter the same way. Like,
Yes,
as much as we don't want them to have to experience these hard things, like, those are three pretty powerful words that,
it's true. It's
yeah,
molded her into who she is, you know?
yeah, yeah. And I imagine you're so proud of how she's handled it, but you also, I hope, that you are also proud of yourself, the way you've helped her through that journey in the middle of it yourself. Like,
Yes. There were
that,
moments,
yeah,
but
but
in hindsight, I can look back
yeah.
and be proud.
So during this, and now it's going to be out there to the world very soon, April 11th, we're launching. Um, your message when you wrote all of this, I mean, you laid it out there. You gave us a lot of insight into what you were dealing with. But you also, I think there was pieces of it that you added the humor, which helps the reader in the, you go pretty deep, and then you bring us back up with a little story, a little funny little clip, a little like, and so I love that you helped us on the roller coaster. But
Thank
that
you.
was real life for you.
Yeah.
Like, you kind of brought us into your life of, there were a lot of downs, and you were able to come back up with bringing your humor back into, and you're not downplaying it by any means, but you're trying to make it a bit lighter. Like, and that's real life. Like, I love that you incorporated that because it helps us to see how you dealt with that. And it's okay. I think that's the
Yeah.
biggest thing. It's okay to use humor and have some fun moments in the really dark and deepest. Like, you talk about one little story, and it was at the, or before you were getting ready for the funeral, and you found the photo. Can you just tell me that one little, we're not going to give it all away, but can you just tell me that one little thing? Because it was just like, I think I'd find the same thing. And I think it's hilarious. And I love it. Like,
Um,
what a gift.
so when we were looking through what photos we would have, we wanted to have like a
Uh,
photo montage. Is that the right word? You know
yeah,
what
what
I'm
do you,
trying to
yeah,
like where it just flips through like a
yeah,
photo album, a digital
yes,
photo album, I guess.
yes. Like a
So we were looking
slideshow, kind
for,
of. A slideshow.
yes, thank you,
Yeah,
slideshow. I don't know why I
yeah,
couldn't think of that word.
yeah.
So yeah, we were looking for pictures that embodied my husband Roy. And I was on his computer on his hard drive, and he had a picture folder with like different folders. And I went into one and found some pictures that I had never seen before. And do you want me to say what it
Yeah,
was?
yeah, 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 yeah.
My husband had created collages of different pictures. So there was one of my daughter, and there was one of some other family members. And the last one I opened up was he had created a collage of his own selfies. Um, I was laugh crying because
Yeah,
it
I
was
bet.
hilarious.
Yes.
Um, so we made sure that that was that actually didn't, I don't think it was on the slideshow. I think we put it on a poster board.
Oh my. And that's what I love. And whether that was a gift he didn't realize you would ever receive, but
100%.
when you're open to receiving those sorts of things, and then this pops in, and you're just like, and they would have been pictures that you hadn't seen and moments that he captured. Like, I mean, I just think it's beautiful, but it kind of jolted you at first because they're like, who does this? Who who
I was
creates
like,
it?
who does this? Yeah, of course he does. And it really, it was a gift that he kind of gave not just to me, but to everybody because it
Yeah.
really embodied his personality and
Yeah. Yeah.
who he was.
So I think you did such an a, I got to stop using the word beautiful because I use it in every single, because that's just one that resonates with me so much. But it was, you did you you let us get to know him a little bit in your chapter, and enough that we can feel touched by his personality and the relationship you had, and not too much that it interferes in your personal. You know what I mean? Like, you had a
Yeah,
beautiful little balance there of, you let
thank
us
you.
in, but I don't want you to, I'm keeping some stuff just for me. And I love that you did that. And like I said, the humor part. And and I mean, the name of your chapter is The Quiet Voice That Carries Me. And you're talking about him in that. And
Yeah,
so you've really honored him in a way. And I would have to say, because we don't want to give it all away, most of the chapter is about that experience, and hearing that voice. And once again, your part is smaller. So this is another example of you putting him, giving him more of the light. I would say you're shining the light on that experience and of Roy. And you've added your part of the breast cancer, but it is a smaller version. But I'm glad you touched on it. Like, I'm proud of you for putting that in, because that is part of your story. And when we're dealing with a chapter, it's really hard. Like, I mean, most people say, like, we're trying to write our life in a chapter, and you can't do that. So you've snippeted a few pieces to kind of bring it all together for us so that we get a
yeah,
better overall picture. But I hope that you will one day be writing a whole book because you've got a whole book in you for sure.
That is
And
the plan.
unfortunately, people are going to relate because we all, if we haven't already, we are all going to experience grief. And you touch on that in a way of really helping us understand that everybody grieves differently. And there's no right or wrong way. And if it is humor that you bring in, if it is a decision that you made that a family member might kind of look at you kind of strange, like, why are you doing that? It's okay. It's okay. And you have a lot of compassion for that. And you had to have compassion for yourself to know
Yeah.
this is what works for me. And I think
Yeah.
that's permission you're giving a lot of other women or people, not even just women, permission to do it however works for you in the moments of grief. And
Yes.
I mean, you had grief in the loss of your husband, but you also had grief in your diagnosis as well. And so
Yeah.
you're dealing with two different types with a little girl that is your main priority. So
Yeah.
I commend you so much for
Thank
taking the
you.
time to do this to help other people. Um, you've got a lot on your plate and you are handling it with so much love and grit and resilience. So I
Thank
just,
you.
I admire you for doing that and for being vulnerable and courageous to help. So I just
Thank
wanted to
you.
make sure you knew that. Um,
Thank you.
so
Appreciate it.
to wrap it up for our listeners, can you tell me what you would say is the biggest message for you that you wanted to get across in your chapter for others? Or was there one? Like, is there?
I think that there was a lot of little, like, I had different things come through, but about resilience and really, like, you talked about the humor, but even though it seems bad, like, there's always that light there.
Mhm, mhm. And to look forward to, and it's okay.
Yeah.
That
Yeah. I
was,
feel like it.
yeah. That was a very strong message for me in the book was it's okay to do it your way. And
Hmm.
sometimes, even if somebody takes it the wrong way, it's okay. It's okay because that's not your place to try and decide how other people are going to perceive you. And I think that was a real
Yes.
message. I felt like you felt strong in what you were doing and the decisions you were making, and I believe that message comes across and so much compassion, but compassion for yourself as well.
100%. That's a
Yeah,
big
very important,
key.
very very important. And so, are you proud of yourself?
I am.
And are you
I
nervous?
am.
Are you nervous about?
I'm a little bit nervous. It
Mhm.
was hard because you do want to write, maybe not even so much, it wasn't even so much my whole life, but like that, let's say, let's stretch it out to a decade. It was a little
Right.
less, but like
Yeah.
it was a lot to try to put into one chapter.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if maybe two separate books come out of it, maybe even three. I have
Yeah.
lots of ideas.
I can see that. I can see that happening. But you did it. You did it. And that's the other thing I'd love to get across just to the people who are listening or who are ever thinking about writing is you're going to have those moments where you don't want to do it. Like it's no, I don't want to look at it. I don't want to pick it up. I'm just gonna leave it. And then you always come back to it. You always came back to it. You came with another new outlook, like, okay, no, this is important. And it is
Yeah,
important. Our stories matter so much. And that's why this project is so not that I ever thought it was going to mean this much to me. I just did this as kind of, well, that sounds fun. And now I'm so vested in the women that are coming in and having the guts to open up a piece of their lives for us to learn from. Like
yeah,
that's something that is so powerful to me. And it's not easy. Like, I don't think this process is an easy process. I think it's rewarding
Very.
but we learn a lot about ourselves during it.
Yes, we do.
And I think,
Mhm.
for Alora, your daughter, to one day sit down and read this chapter, or you may have already read it to her. I'm not sure how much you're
She's heard
sharing.
parts of it,
Yeah.
yes.
And it's a little piece of you that you're leaving behind. And in how
Yeah,
many years to come, and maybe it's great grandchildren that one day pick up this. Like, I don't know, that gives me shivers. Like
that's
I
so
just
exciting.
I know. So hopefully you may be at the summit. You're still figuring out if you might be able to
I'm
be there or not.
hoping I should know in the next couple weeks.
Okay. So yeah, we invite all of you to come to the summit in Calgary, April 11th. You get a copy of this book. If you aren't able to come to the summit, it'll be available for sale on Amazon. But if you can get there in person and meet some of these authors and really connect with them on their story, it is so powerful to be in that room. So Tanya, I thank you so much for sharing with us and being here today. And I do think we are going to do a longer version of this podcast so we can dive more into all the topics in your chapter that you shared with us, because it is going to resonate with so many people. And for you,
I
I,
would like
I
that.
just, I really appreciate you being here. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. And thank you everyone for listening, and stay tuned for the next author coming up. Probably very soon. All right. Thanks, guys.